Hey people, I told you in that last movie that I was going to start at Ezekiel 1 and read this. And the reason I have to, because it's too easy. And I found the real word for angel down here. And when I looked into it, it really opened up. You know, the word they say angel all through the Bible is just a messenger. It's from Malachi. But this is angel right here. This is the closest thing you'll find angel in the Bible. And the brightness is the angel. W-N or U-N-G-E-L-U. Angel. This is the closest thing you're going to find. And when I looked into it, I knew that's what it was. And I got a better idea of what it meant. But it's always the brightness. Bright radiance. It's the angel. And it comes up 5 times like that. And then, you know, the angel, to give angel, from angel, of angel. And so it's only going to be the ones that end with the H. The ones that end with the M is an S at the end. It's not going to be, but the rest of them have option. You know, they can be mixed with another word. You know, it's when gas, S-A, the fire shop. When gas, and this is the one we're looking at. When gel, angel. When angels, you know, when the lash. When galish, angels. But I found it in one place, and it really explains what it means. But I'm going to try to read on down to it here. So this starts at the top of Ezekiel 1, called Ezekiel's Prophecy at K-Bar. And I started to read it, and it was really easy because it's talking about my old job when I was in the Navy, and it's using the same lingo. And it came to pass in the 13th, the year in the 4th month, but that's not what it says. You know, this is the wage to make how you get by, your job on the boat, your wage, W-I-E-J. The wage to make who? Yod, to make H-I-W. It's another way of spelling who. There's several ways of spelling everything. The wage make who in slushes, in the 13th. And before you say that says 30th and not 13th, I want you to know that this same word's used in Ezekiel 42. And here they say it's in the 3rd story. B-S-L-S-I-S. B-S-L-S-I-S. Same word. There is no word for 13th because it's been outlawed. You see, this is the only time they use this word for 3. And they have all these other words for 3. And you see, this is the only time they use this word for 30th. And they have all these other words for 30th. It's because 13th was the 13th company. And it's the 13th livery. And they have to do with regulation of dyes. And so in past movies, the one about the tie-dye, I'll leave a link all over for it, but it explains all that pretty well, and what the dyes are all about. That's why, you know, the Catholic Church is called the diocese, the dye houses, and it was a highly regulated company. In the French, in the British, in Italian, everybody regulated because it's where they made drugs. You can see here the 13th livery is the Worshipful Company of Dyers. The Dyers Guild. It originates as the trade associated for members of the dyeing industry. Mainly a charitable institution now. The Worshipful Company of Dyers. And they say that means give glory to God. But this M on the end would be from, and the glory from God. We can look up the Hebrew word for glory It'll give you a better idea what that means. So in the Navy, we all got paid on the 15th and the 30th. And I'm sure back in the years when they used the lunar calendar, that's, hey, payday is on new moon and full moon. That way, that ain't nobody screwing you out of your pay. It's a full moon, it's payday. And so the 13th is, the day, 2 days before payday. And so, I used to play a lot of poker on the boat. Everybody knew that I had a lot of money. And so before payday, they was all broke on the 13th of the month. And on the 28th, if we were in port in Europe and they wanted to go out, have a good time, but they done spent all their money, they would come to me and they say, slush me some money. Hey, 20 for 30. You give me 20 today and I'll give you 30 payday. 40 for 80 sometime. Give me $40 now and I'll give you 80 on payday. And you couldn't beat it because you had a pocket full of money. It was doing you no good. And 2 days later, 40 turns into an 80. And I was making way more money slushing. Even the officers would come ask me when they needed money. They knew I had a pocket full. So I was running the slush fund is what it called. And it's a new word I learned in the Navy. I didn't know what it meant. Slush. And so the wage make who in slushes. SLSHIS. In slushes. On the 13th, everybody comes to see you. The wage make who in slushes shine, doing good times. Bear, B-R, bear in joy, J-O-Y. The yod is the I, the J, or the Y. And so the B is the B, or the V, or the N. To bear in joy. The wage make who in slushes shine, bear in joy. So this shine makes me think that this is the sin, as in the moon. The 13th, they were counting their days on the lunar, not the sun. And so the church is doing the same thing. That's why all your holidays end up on full moons. They know, give them the money on the full moon. Full moon affects people's thinking. They go out and do stupid things. You go bail them out of jail, and hey, they owe you, so they're back on the boat. They can't stay in that port. So you make sure your sailors got back on the boat. Give them their money on a full moon. Let them go do something stupid. The 13th. The new moon is on zero, and the 13th is the day before the full moon. In slushes shine. In the slushes sign. The 13th of, not the year, the 13th of the month. Bear in joy. In comes Chet, C-H, Chet, C-H-M. In comes the loads. In comes the L-H-D-S. Noah is just spelled N-O. The loads. You see how it's loads. The loads. In comes the loads. Everybody, all of them coming to see me on the 13th. Everybody on the boat. If we were in port, they want to go out and get drunk, get a hooker. They all come see me. In comes the loads. The wage make who in slushes shine. Bear in joy, and in comes the loads. To any, A-N-Y. Vav, connected to any and to give. The luge gull. The luge, backwards and forwards after the tack. Everything starts with an A, I read it backwards, and everything that comes after this tack, I read it backwards and forwards. In to give, to any in to give. The luge, E, the luge, L-U-G-E, G-U-L-E, the luge gull. So the luge gull is an ancient word meaning luge, reckless, fool, the reckless fool. In comes the loads, to any in took, any to give. The the reckless fool hollering. The gull is the fool, and the E on the end, it goes with the ha, O-L, hollering. Holl, and backwards and forwards. Holl, R-E-N, hollering. Here in cover. Here, hollering, here in cover. Hey, I got your money. Everybody on the boat, they're looking for somebody to loan them money. They're just hollering, hey, 20 for 30, 20 for 30. And hollering, here of cover. I cover it. I can cover it. I got your money. Here in cover. And the end goes with this, the cover in path. Covering path to, PTH. We're open. The path to, the same is where them route Myel. Myel, M-Y-E-L, is a medical term for the backbone. It's also the backbone of the heavens, the Milky Way, Myel. And it's also from Yel. It's the one who's in charge, from Yel. And they would get all their information from the yell of the stars. Whatever the heaven says, that was God, from the backbone of the heavens. The same is where them route Myel, from Yel. In comes the loads, high the shine, each miss it legal what? The milky wicken, the milk make wicken. In comes the loads, all of them coming, high the shine. The moonshine, high the shine. Each miss it legal what? It doesn't have its legal tax stamp. That's on your cigarettes and tobacco, alcohol, firearms and tobacco commission. And you see that's where your word commish come from right here. Commish. What's legal? Each miss it. And so this is missing the legal what? The commish it legal what? The milk make the Wiccan. Wiccans are the people who knew how to read this and how to brew. The brews, the Hebrew, the brewers. So this tells me that they're cutting out the middleman, and it's the wage of who, and who is H or EIW, they too. So it's not one person who, but it's they, them. The wage, they who in slushes shine. So what they're doing here is they're cutting out the middleman with the money, and it's the man with the moonshine. It's the bar room that's fronting your liquor. So this is all poetry by astronomers, and they're keeping time by talking about the stars they're seeing. And so best chance they're talking about this Seagull Nebula that sits just above the Canis nose, and it's called the Seagull Nebula by amateur astronomers. But if you go just above this boat here to the Canis, there's a nebula that sits right over here that looks like a seagull to amateurs. And somehow they could see that way back then. They could see the Seagull Nebula. I'd ever have you. Lola fees high, has fall been is too busy. The convers, Cassidy's, all Rainier in cover, what they allow, she's hand have you. So this is talking about Virgo here. Yes, on the boat, I, yes, I'd ever have you. You can see this D-V-R, D-E-V-A-R, Dever. I'd ever have you. Lola is a quality of the Virgin Mary. Lola, female given name in German or Spanish, meaning sorrows. Our Lady of Sorrows. So the Virgin Mary is Virgo, and she's got this red hair, and in one hand she's got some grain. She wears wings, and in the other hand, they call this a frond, but it looks like my lily. I got a lily that grows yellow and orange, and it blooms every year right on Mother's Day. And so I'd ever have you. Lola fees high, has fall been is too busy. Been busy in the fall, collecting the grain, the con, the cane, the dogs, the con bears, Cassidy's, all Renier, all Ren. Ren, they use the same words, but they twist them up. And that's the genius of these poets, Being this had an E in front of it, it makes this hollering here in cover. But here it doesn't have the E in front of it, so now it's all Ren. Ren is to come up with, to get something. All Ren, her in cover, what they allow she's hand have you. So Cassidy is a word meaning curly haired, and it comes from the Irish, and all Irish have red hair, so that lets you know it means curly red hair. So in her left hand she has ear, and this is spisa, ear of grain. So she was before known in Babylonian as Shala, and her ear in the left hand. And so the left hand is here. The hand, when its tack is here, is the hand to have you. Your left hand. If you're going to have a woman's hand, it's going to be her left hand. The hand to have you. The bears, the Cassidys, their red curls, and all Ren is, in the hand to come up with. In the hand, the ear and covered, what they allow she's hand have you. And so 1,000 years ago, she was pictured with the scales of justice in her left hand. And that's another way of saying an ear of grain. And it means to listen to the smallest details is how a good judge works, the ear of grain. So this angel comes up in this next line, this next visions of 4 cherubim. Comes up here, and the brightness it. From telephit to angel to survive. If there's a dot in here, this is sabib, means around. But if the dot's not there, it's survive. I'm going to put this in the next movie, and I might just get this one line in it, because I'm going to go off into this angel and show you other places I found it and the different meanings that it has depending on where it's used. Alright, good day.